Hello everyone, it's Lindsay, and today I am coming at you with a very simple card making project. I don't make cards very often, but when I have leftover bits from a collection or I just don't have time to sit down and or the energy to document photos or do, an in-depth Bible journaling study, I like to use some of the pretty elements that I have on my desk to create some cards, especially right now with everything that's going on. I don't know about you, but I'm trying to be more intentional about fostering real life relationships and not just online relationships. So it's great to have some cards on hand that I can send out to people as I need to. So I'm primarily working with the Gabby Collection from Felicity Jane. I will have detailed instructions for these cards over on their blog today, so be sure to go check that out. Links and everything will be down below for you guys. But I really love the idea of having kind of a focal image and getting to use one of my favorite papers from the Gabby Collection, which is the wood grain paper. So there is this cut file that Felicity Jane has in the Silhouette Studio. I'll try to link it down below. And I used my Silhouette Cameo cutting machine to cut out these leaf shapes. So the cutting file comes with these 3 shapes. I've scaled them down to be about 3.5 to 4 inches tall. And these are going to be the main element of the card. And then I went ahead and pulled out a variety of pattern papers from the Gabby Collection, some essentials white cardstock. All the measurements for what I cut everything to will be over on the blog. These are going to be a top folding card. And I've pulled out a few other items from the Gabby Collection, as well as some essentials items and some Tori enamel dots and things like that. These do not have to be complicated. They can be very simple cards. So let me go ahead and put you guys on fast forward and I'll show you how I put together these little greeting cards.
Okay, so I'm going to start by adding some texture to the smaller piece of white cardstock. I'm going to use this wood plank embossing folder. I am going to mist my cardstock with a little bit of water before I put it in there, and that just helps because this is one of those 3D textured folders. And then I'm going to run it through my die cutting machine. Now, I don't have the necessary plates for this sandwich. You have to buy those separate, so I'm winging it. I'm just using the base plate, my embossing folder with the cardstock, and then my embossing mat and running it through, and it worked just fine. I get plenty of texture. These 3D textures can be a little tricky to work with, so just play around and find out what sandwich works best for the different types of mediums that you're using in that particular embossing folder. But I did go ahead and add just a smidge of adhesive before I took that over to my sewing machine and used some gold thread to stitch that piece onto my patterned paper. And then now I'm going to adhere this to the card base. I am making sure that I have adhesive on all of these stitching areas just so that everything stays together and doesn't tear apart if I send this through the mail. You could add ink to that if you wanted to really bring out that wood texture of the embossing folder if you wanted, but I like things a little bit more simple, and this is a fun way to kind of dress up just plain white cardstock. So for my leaf die cut here, I am going to add some foam adhesive just to the top of the leaf and then just regular adhesive towards the bottom just to kind of pop it up and add some dimension. I've already gone ahead and taken the backing papers off of my foam adhesive, and then now I'm going to create a little nest out of some more of this gold thread. And this is kind of my trick for doing this. So I'm wrapping it around my fingers several times, and then I'm going to lay it on my table and kind of pull it apart, make it my messy little nest. And now that all of my adhesive is exposed on my leaf, I'm going to stick that down to it before I stick it to my card. This way I can manipulate things, rearrange it, add more if I need to, take things away. I can tuck in the little ends, get it just how I want before I stick it to my card. And it's just sticking to the adhesive on the back of the leaf. Now I used a lot of thread, so I did have to add some additional adhesive to get it to stick to the card. And also because I'm adhering that to that textured cardstock, you want to make sure that you have plenty of adhesive because it is a 3D texture. So it is very, very ripply and bumpy on the card. And then I just kind of pull up at the edges of the leaf just to add some more texture and dimension. And then off camera, I went ahead and put a sentiment onto one of these essentials label stickers using the Gabby Alphas. So some of my cards say hello, some say miss you. You could use a variety of stamps or alpha stickers, kind of customize it to whatever you want. I like to keep them kind of generic. That way I can just grab one and send it as I need to. And then I'm finishing it off with a few of these Tori epoxy stickers. The colors aren't exact matches for the Gabby Collection, but they're very similar. And so this is a great way just to add a little bit more color to the card, a little more interest, and just another texture to it. So very, very simple cards, but just by using a variety of different textures and really letting those pattern papers kind of be the show, makes it very simple to put these together. So there you go. That is pretty much going to be it for these cards. Very, very simple. You can see the texture here, not too chunky, so I can still send that to through the mail. Be sure to head on over to the Felicity Jane blog for more close-up photos, the measurements, all the details for how these came together and the products that I used. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave those down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. And until next time, thank you so much. Bye-bye.